Welcome to the Wandering Tangent Podcast. I'm BJ, with me is Jeff and Gary, and today we're going to talk about the 2002 comedy horror comedy, Eight-Legged Freaks.
Yeah, this one was my choice. It's another one of those comfort food type movies for me, so I hope everybody enjoyed it a little bit.
Comfort food movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I could get that. I have not seen this movie. This was my first time ever watching it, even though it's been around for 2 decades plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it was a popular film. Like, a lot of people didn't watch it, wasn't well received, yet it falls into that campy category of movies that we all typically enjoy. We love something that's just a little bit awful in some way.
I had only seen it on like TV, back in the glory days of cable or network television when there'd just be random movies on at all hours of the afternoon or evening. And this is probably one I had seen on TV a few times. I don't know if I ever went out of my way to watch it. And I guess might as well get the review portion of things on the road. And so I don't know if it's really something I would go out of my way to watch.
Yeah,
very
so
often.
if it wasn't for this podcast, you never would have really sat down to see it.
Oh, I mean,
which is true of me.
Unlike you, I had seen it before, so I relatively knew what I was getting into. But I'm gonna give it a 2. So
Okay.
I didn't not like it, but like I said, it's not something I would seek out. Reasons. I guess I don't know if you can really say much. I guess the acting's okay, right? Like, it is meant to be more or less a pretty. It knows what kind of movie it is, right? It is very tongue-in-cheek, but that kind of makes it so the tone is kind of all over the place. I mean, there are scenes where the violence is played up for comedy, and then there are scenes where people are, say, dragged screaming and clawing on the ground into trapdoor cider dens. So, I'm not sure what tone this movie was going for. So I don't know if I was just not quite in the mood for it, but I can't really say much against it because it should be exactly my wheelhouse, but
There was something about it that just wasn't right.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Like I said, I had not seen it for quite some time, ever since streaming services became a thing, I guess. It was never something as I flipped around and said, "Oh, Eight-Legged Freaks. I'm gonna commit 90 minutes of my life to watch that again." And just never did. And the acting's okay. I feel like it's purposely cheesy in a few places, but not. I don't know, because I think it's pretty well established. I am a fan of 1950s era's creature features, and this is very much an homage to those.
Yeah.
But it's played way more tongue-in-cheek than those were. So I get what they were going for, and it is a parody, but it's parody in a good way where they obviously have affection of what they are poking fun at, but it just didn't quite hit for me. So I'm giving it a 2.
Okay. So I debated a lot. I wanted to give it a 0, but I have to give it a 1 as my real score.
Yeah,
So I liked it. I think what made it a 1 for me is that it was a movie that tried to be campy, that wanted to be campy, and I think that's such a noble effort to want to make a movie like that. And there were parts of this movie that I legitimately very much liked and thought that they did well at. There's I guess it was supposed to be cheesy. It's supposed to be a movie that makes you roll your eyes at the same time. It just has schlock fun where it's just characters and they're in awkward moments and they just have encounters with spiders that are full of webs and shotgun blasts and goo and all that and spiders jumping out suddenly. I mean, yeah, all of that is good. And it was supposed to be a little cheesy, a little fun, and so it gets a 1 for me. But there is something that's lacking in it. I think the characters are a little bit flat, and that's basically it. There's a lot of potential for good characters in a story like this, but I think there's not enough. They're just kind of like people in a town, and there's not a lot of depth to them. Not that you'd even want a lot of depth in a campy movie, but still, there could have been comedy depth to them.
There's a lot of caricatures and not a lot of characters.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, so that's my score.
Like, hi, Gary. Sorry, we're not giving it negative scores.
No,
Yes.
it's positive.
We kind of liked it.
Now I understand what it feels like, BJ, whenever people talk bad about, I don't know, Scrooge or any of the other things that are near and dear to your heart.
We just trashed a favorite movie of Gary's.
Yep.
Because I give this one a 4.
Wow. Okay.
This one, but I will fully admit that this is my movie. And BJ, you and I have talked previously, and Jeff, you were present for these conversations because it was on the podcast about the concept of this being your movie, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
I might remember that conversation. Yep.
This is my movie. I've watched it for a while. I've understood it. It's a kind of a, this one has a lot of memories of family and other friends tied up into it. So it's like, just sit there and BJ, both of us understand the concept of a movie that doesn't, because you guys both pointed out that this movie understands what it's supposed to be.
Yes.
It doesn't try to be anything other, well, it tries to pay homage to the classics, but it doesn't try to be some sort of artistic statement or anything like that, right?
It's not a serious drama. It doesn't try to do anything like that. It's supposed to be a campy, quirky performance.
It pays homage to the old creature features, but doesn't take itself as seriously as it. Well, doesn't take itself seriously at all, unlike the old creature features did.
Yeah.
At least the old great creature features like them and whatnot.
So I'll admit that while my 4 might seem a little high to you guys, I will admit that I understand that comes from a place of nostalgic love in my heart for this movie. So I can understand your lesser scores coming into this where I'm trying to, bring this to you at a later time in life where you're not as familiar or you're not as forgiving for the failures of this movie. And I can understand that. So, yeah.
You can understand, but you will not forgive.
Yes. Well, no, I can understand, but I will not stoop to your giving of a lesser score. I won't give it a lesser score just because you guys have given it a lesser score. I'm just going to give it the score I believe that I feel for this movie.
You're not going to conform to our standards, Gary?
No, I will not conform.
No, you're going to be a maverick. All right.
Yes.
Well, he is the one that like cabaret more than us. Don't forget.
That's true by 1 point. One negative number. And for those that are confused, our scale is from -5 to +5.
So even though these scores are 1 and 3, they're actually still pretty good.
You mean
1 and 2?
1 and 2. Sorry.
1, 2, and 4.
1, 2, and
4
4.
4 is excessively high. I think for a movie that probably would very seriously, the director himself probably would be surprised that anybody said that about his movie. He'd be like, I was just trying to cash a check, dudes. But honestly, it feels a lot of the it, from what I understand of the budget and what it made back, it's like, we're just going to make this movie to make this movie. But anyways, I just love it. It's got such a simple premise, and it loves to play with it. So anyways, that's my take. That's my take. That's one of my simple review. We can go more into it in the
discussion.
In the discussion,
yes. Which we'll be doing next, which will be in a separate video. Yes.
Separate video or episode or whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
So there's our quick little review of Eight-Legged Freaks. Jeff gave it a 1. I gave it a 2. Gary gave it a 4. I think is 4 the highest we've given something, or did Jeff give Superman a 4?
I
forget what Jeff gave Superman.
I think I might have given Superman a 4, but no one has hit 5 yet. That's the ultimate apex of
Eight-Legged Freaks does not deserve a 5. It's, no matter how much I appreciate it.
Gary's not that crazy.
There's no way I'm calling it a 5.
But anyway, I guess we'll leave that there before we start launching off in the discussion. So if you want to hear us ramble on about Eight-Legged Freaks and whatever our brains connect to Eight-Legged Freaks, jump on over to our discussion episode. And if not, we will see you next time as we talk about something else probably horror related, because it is October, don't you know? Halloween and all that stuff. So we will see you in a couple of weeks to review something spooky, I'm sure. Okay, bye.